It's been a really wild season, and summer 2020 has been living up to the hype by throwing at us the anime industry's summer blockbusters one after another. It's not an exaggeration to say that this season's chock full of action-packed series, may it be new stars of carryovers from the previous seasons due to various circumstances. As we look to wrap the season up, let's go through 10 of the best fights that the season has to offer. After all, if you're someone who craves action, this season provides no shortage of it. I don't think there's any need for a longer intro, so let's begin and let the battles do the talking. First on the list at number 10 is Frenda vs Yumiya from Railgun T. Railgun T's interesting broadcast schedule has been quite documented on this channel already, and with the season getting extended all the way to the summer season, we can have this fight on the list. Who knew that a fight between two side characters who ultimately end up being inconsequential in the grander scheme of the huge world of Raildex would have arguably one of the best fights in the series? I think it helps that the two characters don't have a lot of the broken magical powers that a lot of the Raildex universe has, so what we have here is a strategic maw brawl following a cat-and-mouse chase. Yet it really does help when you don't have world-altering powers or the like and have to resort to strategizing your attack plans. The fight's not anything too spectacular in terms of animation or effects like some of the fights that we're going to see later on, but I enjoyed it for how it progressed, the execution, and ultimately how it ended. Decadence sure knows how to make a first impression. Coming into the series, I got wind of the idea that this is supposed to be some kind of humanity versus monsters thing, and while it's largely proven to subvert expectations as it progressed, I think that it mostly set the pace with its action sequences in its pilot episode. This right here is what Decadence is all about. You've got the colourful world, the vibrant characters, the creative designs for the monsters, and you've got all the fast-paced action going on all over the place. People flying around, technology showing its mettle, monsters getting blown away, fast camera cuts that keep your attention glued to the screen. I'm telling you, it's insane. No wonder people compared it to Attack on Titan. Then again, what Humanity vs Monsters series doesn't get compared to one of the most enduring and captivating animes of the previous decade? The whole sequence is chaos, it's madness, but somehow I find order and rhythm in it. It really gives me a good impression and was a big part of me continuing on with the series. Eighth on the list is Anos vs Melhes. The challenge with having a series be all about a character who's so ridiculously overpowered is writing a good fight for that character. Having an opponent putting up a fight can put a damper on the main point of the series, that which is that the main character is just way too broken for mere mortals to comprehend. Hence, we often just get some acrobatic fests like the one in Tatsuya vs Masaki, or something we remember more for the over-the-top effects like Saitama vs Boros. On the contrary, I like what they did with the second arc of Misfit of Demon King Academy. The main focus, at least on paper, is the battle between Anos and Lei in the tournament finals. However, the anime makes an amazing transition from the battle, which has already been pretty exciting all things considered, into the arc's ultimate confrontation where he showcases not only his power, but the more empathetic side of him. I like how it shows that there's something bigger than a tournament final, and I really like how this shows the depth for our main character. The series has always had a thing for family dynamics, and I think that this fight and its implications are a great way of adding personality to what can otherwise lead into a boring main character.
Anos-sama.
レムの英雄が必ずやお前たちも裁きに来る。
Re:Zero as an isekai series isn't really fight-centric. More of the intrigue and the selling point of the series can be attributed to the mystery and the dark atmosphere. Now that doesn't mean that it can't have some great fights, as Season 1 showcased. For this season, I give the best one to the first episode fight between Rem against the team of Greed and Gluttony. Personally, I never ranked Rem to be someone very high on the power level scheme of things in the Re:Zero universe. I mean, she's strong and she's more than capable, but against battle-tested veterans in Wilhelm or Krush, or the sheer insanity of the Sin Archbishops, I think that she's just no match. Despite all odds, she fights on, clinging onto the memories of Subaru, memories that fuel her resolve. But because this is ReZero, we can't have good things, and despite giving us a spectacle of a fight with her flail, she essentially gets one shot. The fight would have been great, but I feel that it's too short. Nonetheless, it's an amazing way to get the story going for the second season. Having read ahead from what the anime has as of the time of this writing, I know there's going to be a lot more amazing fight sequences ahead, mostly featuring Garfield and Elsa. That's going to have to wait though, but those are certainly some cool scenes to look forward to. With ReZero Season 2 being confirmed to be a split core, we'll be seeing Subaru, Emilia and the rest of the gang all the way next year. It feels nice to see that even after all these decades, One Piece still has it. Over the years, it's had its fair share of badass moments and emotional fights that made it one of the most beloved series of all time. Just recently, it had a nice little fight that shows that even its secondary main characters still get their much-deserved shine this deep into the run, and I wish I could say the same for a lot of other shonen. This fight's basically about depicting Zoro as a badass. We already know that he's won before this fight, but how do you drive home the point that this character's really strong? You have him take a page out of Ken Bachi's playbook and take a scythe to the chest, then have him use it as an advantage and swing it around as a weapon for his amazing technique for the victory. It's a pretty quick fight, but the animation and art is still amazing, and it's probably one of the shining moments that our favorite green-haired swordsman has had in recent memory. Shinra vs Charon finds its way to the number 5 spot on this list. I've said a lot of good things about Fire Force's fights and the creativity on display in the series, and the trend seems to keep going on with its second season. In the 4th episode of the second season, Shinra runs into Charon of the White Clad. The whole sequence just looks so clean and so smooth. Things start off fast and furious with a sky battle between the two, showing us that Shinra has pretty much no option but to win the fight. Not that it's going to be easy when he's taking on Charon. Most notable is probably the exchange involving the two combatants throwing each other into walls. That and Charon no-selling Shinra's offense while looking down on our hero's skill. Even with Shinra's best hits, Charon still seemed miles ahead of him. But guess what? Charon isn't even a pillar. Imagine what kind of challenges lie ahead for the good guys. Fog Hill of 5 Elements enters at number 4 with this bridge fight scene. I've talked about Fog Hill of 5 Elements a couple of times already now, and I think that this show is really underappreciated. There's a lot of creativity that I can see from it, and I can tell that it's a very well crafted and thought out series from first impressions alone. It also boasts a healthy resume of nice fights, made all the more noteworthy thanks to the series' unique art style. It's a joy watching the characters go at it in this scene from the very first episode. Being a scene that sets the tone of the series, I didn't expect it to have the payoff feel for something with history and build-up, but as a standalone fight, this is probably better than a lot of the stuff I've seen recently. Look out, anime industry, there's a new contender in town. If you need more reasons to watch Fog Hill of 5 Elements, then make sure to check out the other videos that cover some more scenes from the show. Links on the corner of the screen. Next is this fight from White Cat Legend. After Fog Hill of 5 Elements, we have the next Chinese anime on this list in 3rd place. This fight pretty much presents to us why Chinese martial arts series have been gaining traction in the past couple of years. Smooth choreography, nice animation, and an art style that's similar to Fog Hill all create a scene that deserves such a high spot on the list. The fight also takes you through a roller coaster with the sequence quickly shifting pace with its slowdowns and focus shots. It takes a special kind of art to make you feel each impact of the weapon's blows in each exchange, but these guys have done it with this battle. It's a shame not a lot of people have heard of this series. Now that you've you've seen some of the best that it has, why not give it a try? Speaking of isekai that are fight-centric, the second part of Sword Art Online's War of Underworld has a lot of amazing fights. It's like the anime team poured out the remaining budget and pulled the UFO table. If you need further proof that SAO's long become A1 Pictures' darling franchise and moneymaker, just look at the effort they make in animating the sequences for War of Underworld. In terms of animation and voice acting, I can't even decide which fight to put as SAO's representative. If it comes to sheer magnitude or emotions, I give this to the final battle between Kirito and Gabrielle. Putting two overpowered characters who have completely mastered the rules and system of Underworld gave us this treat, and Kirito eventually gets his ass kicked for the most part of this fight. I mean, you have few options against someone who no-sells everything with this completely evil heart empowered by the lucid dream-like system of Underworld. I also like how Kirito pulls off the concept of the Spirit Bomb as his ultimate attack. What more powerful force in anime than the will of all living beings in Underworld? It's those prayers and help from Kirito's true Yu-Gi-Oh that create a force impossible for even the God of Darkness to overcome. With how the episode ended afterwards, I personally wouldn't mind it if SAO as an anime would be done for good after this arc. I mean, I'm a fan and I would love nothing than the series to end on its thematic high, as explained in my other channel's video, which you can check out by clicking on the link on the corner of the screen. For all the cut content and weird pacing, pretty much nothing tops God of High School this season when it comes to the actual spectacle of fights. Look at it this way. For a series that's pretty much completely about fights and tournaments, they better make good on those. Luckily, we have those in droves. I've often talked about God of High School's great fight choreography and praiseworthy animation, but the fight between Jin and Davy does more than that. I just find it so awesome because of the raw emotion on display. I'm not sure if I'll have to hype the actual fight because I just want to let the video do it for you. The way the fight progresses also cuts deep when you step back and think of what Davy is going through. I just feel sad that they cut some content due to time constraints. However, for the fight itself, amazing. You have so many people talk about this fight because it's just that good. Davy's backstory, his personality, and his fighting techniques come into play to produce one of the best episodes of the series so far. The anime team had a challenge ahead and they decided to adapt one of the biggest webtoons around, and they passed with flying colors. With these 10 fights under the belt, do you think the summer 2020 has lived up to the pre-release hype or not? Which one is your favorite? Do you think that fall 2020 will have as many great fights to compare? Leave those juicy comments and spicy takes below. With a few more weeks to go before this season's conclusion, why not start the catch-up run while you're at it? As always, if you're up for more content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button on your way out. I'll see you next time.